Good morning, it's Shanna. This week we are going to look at decks that I keep saying I'm not into and yet I have a ton of, and that is plant decks. If you've watched any of my videos, I feel like every time I show any plant deck, I say I don't have very many, I only have, and then I start counting and I lose count because I have so many. So I kind of wanted to, in a way, kind of decide if there are any that maybe I need to rehome. I'm kind of in this phase where I'm starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed with some of my decks, and I've learned in the past that just getting rid of decks because I'm overwhelmed by the number is not usually a good idea because I wind up re-buying them. So I think today's more an exploration of what I could potentially rehome, but I'm not really ready to rehome any of them just yet. Anyway, so I thought I would bring you along and we can take a look at all the plant decks that I have. Okay, so first up, this is a deck that I'm not rehoming for any reason. Obviously plant deck, but this is a staple. This is one that I actually did rehome and repurchase. The Herbcrafters is kind of a staple. I feel like if you're into natural decks at all, this is probably one that you have. So I think everyone has seen this deck. This one I tend to pull out in June. Past years I have sort of assigned a deck for every month, at least one, sometimes more than one, but usually just one, and then I sort of pull in others as well. But I haven't really been doing that so much this year. I know we're only in February, but so usually January I would pull out the textured tarot, and I didn't find myself using that deck at all for January. But I did use it more in February this year. So, and I don't really have, previous years, I didn't really have February decks. I didn't have one that sort of fell into that slot. This year I did find one that I think will be my February deck, which we'll get into next week when I do my wrap up. But this one, if I'm going to slot it into a month, it's going to be the June deck. It has that like early summer, warm but not yet hot feel. And it has that energy of the caretaker. Like you can ask it any question and it's going to, make you a cup of lemonade and sit down and listen and talk you through it and honestly probably let you talk yourself through it, Like it's going to ask questions, but it's probably not going to give you an outright answer. The guidebook is brilliant. I love it. The court cards which is one of the reasons why I rehomed it in the first place. The court cards are renamed, but that doesn't bother me now. Honestly, I have a permanent sticky note above my altar here that has all of the titles and what they are in English. So I don't know, this just sits here. And then I have like a full moon in it. Anyway, there's just a little note that I have sitting here. And I use it all the time when I have this deck. Or when I have this deck pulled out. So this is a permanent fixture. Yeah, I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. But it's definitely a plant deck. Now, I won't say that it's just a plant deck, which I think is where it kind of falls firmly in a keeper deck, just because I can get more out of it than just the plant, right? And I don't have to try to interpret the meaning just based off of the plant, just based off of the plant. Which sometimes, I think that might be my hiccup with Oracle plant decks, because instead of being able to pull in the tarot meaning along with whatever else is going on in the card, Oracle decks, you kind of have to go with the guidebook, or you have to know the plants. So that's the Herbcrafters. Okay, next up I have, this one's a relatively new one to my collection, the Wisdom of Trees Oracle by Jane Struthers, and the art is by the person who did Forest of Enchantment Tarot, right? I'm not crazy. These cards love to stick in this box. I've actually, if I remembered, added my own little ribbon to help lift them out because it's kind of annoying. And I'm not sure if, I only have a couple of decks that I purchased, not necessarily just because, but heavily influenced my decision to purchase because of the artist. Oh, I never told you who it was. Her name is Mirella Allwood. Am I insane? That's right, right? I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. If not, I will, I don't know. Doesn't matter. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Anyway, so it's a beautiful deck. I really, really love the artwork. I'm not super into trees. Like, I like trees. I enjoy them. I like looking at them. I'm curious about them, as in I like to know what kind they are, but I don't really know anything about, and I don't really like go into research mode or anything when I see any particular tree. I feel like, I don't know. So I feel like for me, looking at a tree is sort of like looking at a person. And to look up the meaning of any given tree sometimes feels a little bit pigeonhole-y. Like I'm pigeonholing that specific tree into its meaning. I do, you know, I won't say I don't look up meanings of trees, but like I'll look it up, and then if I'm really curious about that particular tree, I would prefer to just sit with it and spend some time with it and like contemplate and sort of let it speak to me in the moment versus trying to say, oh, this bristlecone pine means XYZ, and that's what this particular tree is representing right now in this time, in this place. I don't know, that doesn't really work for me, but look how pretty all these little details are. We've got a little bird up here, and then we've got the spider web. It's just such pretty art, and I enjoy the colors, and this is a deck I feel like eventually I'll probably use. I don't imagine myself rehoming it. I don't think I've used it. I guess I've used it a couple times, but not for anything specific. I feel like this might be a good one to bring into like color work. You know, if I was going to combine it with what, the Chroma Mystic Oracle. But this is definitely a book that you have to use, or at least I have to use the guidebook with. The guidebook is nice. It does have some spreads. So past, present, future. And then the horseshoe spread. Looks like maybe just those two. That's okay. But then each one you've got the, scientific name, I guess. And then the message, the Deva message. And then kind of a little write-up about it. It tells where it's at and a few like key points. And then if it's an upright or a reversal. So it's a good little guidebook, which is nice because I feel like I need all of these aspects to be able to use this as an oracle. So yeah, this isn't one that I intend to rehome. I do like that there's an index in the back because the cards are not numbered, I just realized, which, you know, that's okay. With the index, that's okay. And I don't think, are they alphabetized? No, they're not alphabetized. So index is helpful. I think this one would be nice with, probably combined with the Herbcrafters as a pairing. This one looks a lot like a Herbcrafters. There's a specific card. I don't remember which one it was. I like that it's multi-seasonal. So, yeah, and I mean, I don't know, are trees plants? I guess they are, so I guess it falls into the plant deck category. All right, So that is the Wisdom of Trees Oracle. It's a cute box. All right, next I have the Mushroom Oracle. Do I like this deck? Yes, I do like it. It's very pretty. I like the tones of it. The guidebook, I'll be honest, I've hardly used this at all. The guidebook is very simple. It gives you some keywords which are on the card themselves. It looks like each one has, well, some of them have a question. So we've got the forest suit. What else do we have? I don't know much about this deck, as you can tell. The fungal structures, the mushrooms. Is that it? No, it looks like there's one more. And the mushroom people. So, I mean, I guess you could kind of use this as an archetype deck as well. And I believe each of the symbols, because these colors are not in the deck, but these corner symbols tell you which suit you're in. So this one, even though it has a dot like that, you've got like a square symbol versus a rounded symbol. So, or corner, excuse me. That's the inside of the box. They're beautiful. So I guess this is kind of where I lean into the, do I keep it? Do I rehome it? I actually had this in the rehome pile for a while for myself. But the tones are really nice for fall. And I love that it has 3 keywords. I like that for doing spreads. That helps me that helps guide my spread, especially if I'm just laying a few cards. I don't have to necessarily have like a specific meaning to begin the spread. It's right here. So I don't know. I mean, this one's probably a keeper. If I don't know for sure, like, you know, obviously I'm keeping it until I know for sure. And it is pretty. It does go with several of my, you know, tarot decks that I currently have. I like that it has the archetypes. There aren't very many, but it's nice that they're in there. Why don't I pull this deck out? I'm just not that drawn to plant decks. Like if I was going to label myself as, you know, a witch, which I do label myself as that, but I wouldn't say I'm a green witch. I'm not a plant witch. I don't know, like I like working in my garden, but it's very basic and I like it that way. I weed, I prune first thing in the spring, I prune in the fall, and that's it besides the weeding. The weeding, you know, obviously you have to do all summer long, but I don't know. I'm just not a plant garden person. I don't really like bugs. I don't know. I don't like the spiders. I appreciate them out there. I think that's great. They can be out there. I have no problem with them being out there, but I just don't want to like hang out with them. Grasshoppers terrify me. So I don't know. Just, you know, I'm just not much of a plant person. I have a couple pothos at my house, and, you know, a couple of these like little, what are they called? The starter. Why can't I think of the word? The ones you put in the water. So I have some of those, but those are just, you know, zero maintenance essentially. So plant decks, I don't know, I just don't quite, I don't connect with them. I think that's my issue. And on that note, there is currently about to be funded an oracle, no, excuse me, it is a tarot deck on Kickstarter called the Botanica, I believe, tarot. I backed it immediately when it first came out because I actually was about to buy the original mass market version, which came out in 2020. But then I saw the Kickstarter, so I backed it. And then about, I don't know, 5 days ago, I like decided not to back it anymore. So I, deleted my pledge. And then this morning I started freaking out thinking, oh my gosh, what if I have to have it? I don't know. So I rebacked it. I'll probably keep it just because, I don't know, it's kind of pretty. I like that it's a tarot. And I feel like I can work with tarot more than oracle when it comes to plants. However, now we're on the Mushroom Hunters Tarot. And I've talked about this one before being one that I want to take hiking with me, which, again, my version of hiking is very simplistic. My husband loves to go hiking. My idea of hiking is on the coast, relatively flat. I don't mind a little bit of an incline or a little bit here, a little bit there, but like generally speaking, I'm just not a huge fan of hiking. And so I don't know, am I going to really use this deck out there? In my head, this is my fantasy me. I just don't know that I'm actually going to be using it. However, I am going to hold on to it at least through the end of summer. That'll give me a chance to sort of take it with me and decide if it's one that I would like to keep. It's cute. It's really cute. I like the colors. I like the art. I like that it's very RWS. There's just a few cards that kind of throw me, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess, living in the Pacific Northwest, Bigfoot, that's relevant. I just don't really understand what he has to do with Knight of Wands. I don't know. It kind of throws me. It pulls me out of it. And, I've talked about, too, the naked baby picture. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Anyway, I guess I don't really need to show you again. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, there he is. I don't know. I don't get it. So I love this one. This one reminds me of like my mom's kitchen when I was a little girl. So I don't know. This one, and you know what? Maybe it has something to say to me outside. Maybe I need to be outside to fully understand this deck. Because I definitely don't know mushrooms. This one reminds me of my son-in-law. Not the red hair necessarily, but just his vibe. So, I don't know. It's like, I want to, I get these decks thinking like, oh, I want to be this person. I want to work with this energy. And I don't know. I need to stop doing that. But then sometimes, you get a deck thinking, oh, ugh, that's so gross. I don't like that one. Sometimes you get a deck thinking it's, calling out to you for a reason, and it does. And it's kind of perfect, and it's a lifer deck. But I don't know. These are the backs. Very pretty, very simple. So that's another one that's a maybe. Up next is the Southern Botanic Oracle. This is a keeper. Love this deck. And I think that's part of my problem. I'm not sure why some of these I love and some of them I don't. And I mean, I guess it's because when I used this deck, I'll make sure I'm in the frame. Yes. When I used this deck, I feel like I had a really good reading with it. Like, it felt relevant. It was speaking to me. It felt in the moment. And I do enjoy the cardstock. Like, what's the difference between... Okay, you know what? Maybe it is. Is that this to me feels more photorealistic than this. This is like, this is art, which is beautiful. Definitely beautiful. But this is more real world. I think that's what it is. Like this, I can't like put myself in this moment, but I can put myself here. I think that's what it is, because it's the same with tarot. Well, it's the same with, any of my decks. I kind of, generally speaking, prefer more of a photorealistic deck than an artistic deck. I don't know if this is classified as photorealistic, but this one feels more, I can put myself in this space, where this, I can't. Like, I cannot imagine myself sharing this moment with these mushrooms. And I think that's what the issue is. But I do love this. Southern Botanic. Also, you know, I lived in Texas for 10 years, so I feel a kind of connection to this deck where I don't with the Mushroom Oracle. And so actually, now that's kind of answering the question here. Even though I like it and it is objectively beautiful, I prefer this one. And I think I could use this one over this, and I don't think I would miss the Mushroom Oracle. And I don't have any of the other decks by them, so, you know, I don't feel like obligated, I guess, to collect them all kind of thing. And I think that's kind of the issue with this one too. I can't really put myself in each of the cards. So we're going to come back to this here in a minute. Okay, let's finish going through this. The write-ups in this deck are lovely. They're, you know, they're straightforward and simple. There's no images, so you get more space for writing, which I appreciate. It does give you a if you drew this card prompt, which is nice. Or not necessarily prompt, but if you drew this card, you might find the comfort you've been seeking. If you draw the watermelon card, consider ways you're using your creativity. So I guess you could kind of use some of them as prompts. You do get the scientific word for each of the plants, and then you get 2 keywords, which again, with the Mushroom Oracle, you had the 3 keywords, which do you use a tarot, and then is the center card, that center keyword. I feel like this is a little easier for me to work with, a little more intuitive, where, you know, this is the left tarot, this is the right tarot, and this is the center message. So yeah, okay, well, that answers that. These are the backs, by the way. Oh, also these cards also include the poison pack, which I think, I'm not sure how many are in it, like maybe 7 or 12 or something like that. So that was an extra, an add-on that you can buy on their website along with this deck. Love this flower. And this one I actually used with, I'm going to quickly show it because I got quite a response when I paired these two. The Herbcrafters, they just look really nice together. I won't like show every single card or anything, but they do pair nicely. I think the artwork is very similar. So, yes. And I just, yeah, this one, this makes sense to me. Well, love it when that happens. Since we're almost through this oracle, I want to try pulling back in the Tree Wisdom Oracle and see how it looks with. See, and I don't mind a single mushroom. Like, again, I feel like I can kind of put myself in this scene. Like, this is just a mushroom on the forest floor. I don't know, I don't know. This deck just makes a lot more sense to me in my head for my practice. Crepe myrtle. I had a couple of these in our yard when we lived in Texas. Okay. Definitely a keeper. And I think the Mushroom Oracle is going. All right, Southern Botanic Oracle. I love this one. Definitely a keeper. Okay, let's quickly look at a few of these Wisdom of Trees Oracle cards, because I think at least it'll give me a better idea. Because I don't really know what else I would pair this with necessarily. The colors are nice. Oh, this was the Hawthorn. The other one was a pentagram. I can never remember which is which. This is nice together. This isn't quite as photorealistic as maybe I would like. But I like that it has more than just the plant itself. It's got like the bird, it has the flower. And I guess not every card does. A lot of them have a little bird in it, which is nice. For now, I'll be holding on to this tree one. I'm drawn to it for a reason, or yeah, for some reason. Okay, next we have the Midnight Magic Tarot deck of mushrooms. So this is another one that I rehomed and then repurchased. This was another one that I bought thinking that I would like to take it hiking with me. Mostly because I had in my head that my husband and I would be hiking more during the cooler seasons because it gets cool here, but not cold. Usually, I mean, January, February is usually our coldest months, and then it's kind of warm again. And so I thought for the darker half of the year, this would be good. But we didn't go, and so I haven't used it, which having this deck is the reason why I canceled my pledge on the Botanic deck. Because I thought, well, I already have this, dark plant deck that I don't use. Why would I get another one? However, the other one has like a lot of different plants versus just mushrooms. So at least in my head, I still think I could use this even if it was the middle of summer on a hike. And I guess this isn't just mushrooms. You do have animals and bugs and you have flowers. There's a spider in this one. Or is that an ant? Oh, I guess that's an ant. That's an ant. Just in case you couldn't see it in there. So this is going to be one I'll hold on to explore more. However, I think having this deck pushes out the mushroom hunters because I definitely didn't need 3 mushroom decks, which is what I currently have. And I definitely don't need 2 mushroom tarots. And I enjoy this artwork more than I enjoy the mushroom hunters. So I think the mushroom hunters just got pushed out. Okay, this is beautiful. Like I enjoy this artwork more than the mushroom hunters. And I don't think there are any cards in this deck that I don't care for. Part of the reason I got rid of this deck in the first place was that I'm a ding-dong and thought that I couldn't shuffle it because the cardstock is not great. If you have this deck or if you've seen anyone do a walkthrough of this deck, I'm sure you've heard, it's not great. It's very stiff. This is the back. Very kind of cardboardy. I don't know. However, look at this one. Spider. I don't like spiders, but I love the idea of them in my cards because I feel like that's sort of like a little shadow aspect for me to explore depending on the spread, the day, whatever. So I do enjoy that aspect. My window's over here, so I didn't want to have too much shadow on the shorter pile. And then, there's crystals here. This almost feels like underwater. I mean, I know it's not, but it looks like that coral. Oh, red coral. Apparently that's the name of a mushroom. Who knew? So I feel like, honestly, especially given that red coral card and the deep blue colors, I feel like this would be actually really pretty with the Oceanum Arcana deck, which, I live on the coast, and when I choose where we hike, it's always been out on the coast. So I think this deck feels more relevant for that. And I think if I wanted to combine a couple tarot, I could easily do that with the Oceanum Arcana. So, okay, that answers that. Mushroom Hunter Tarot is out. Midnight Magic is in. Do you guys want to see this shuffle? Just in case you're curious. I mean, it's not great, but it's shuffleable. It's not bad. Tiny bit of a bow, but it's not obnoxious. I don't hate it. What I do hate is when we put these, fillers in a box to make them fit. Like, just figure it out, publishers. Make the book a little smaller. Like, I don't understand why that's so difficult. Okay. Anyway. All right, I've got 3 more decks. Nope, I lied, 4 more decks. See, that's what I'm saying. So many plant decks. This one is a keeper. I really like this one. I like the artwork. It reminds me of art that my great-grandma painted. Just in, I don't know, the style or the colors. I'm not sure exactly what specifically it is that reminds me. I think it's the style. Honestly, I wish I had some pictures. I don't have any of her stuff anymore, any of her art. I used to have, you know, that was how I decorated like my first house. And then I decided that it wasn't stylish or whatever. And I almost feel like we're kind of, you know, we're kind of coming around, back around to sort of that 80s style, like the browns and the, I don't know. I was in TJ Maxx yesterday and there was a bunch of art that looked like art that you would have seen hanging on the walls in the 80s. Like I mean, I could describe it, but it doesn't really matter. That's just what it reminded me of. And it, you know, that's not bad, but I feel like my point in saying all of that is that I feel like if I had her art hanging, it would not feel weird anymore. Who knows, 10, 20 years, but I feel this, I don't know. As we get older, do you guys, I get so tired of like trends, trying to keep up. Like obviously I don't really do that so much anymore. I just, you know, I try to decorate in a way that feels timeless, kind of classic, and that can kind of withstand the trends. Anyway, I do love this deck. The guidebook, there's not a lot to it. It's basic, which is perfectly fine. I don't feel like I necessarily need the guidebook with this because it's got kind of a key phrase at the bottom. And then an interesting thing that this deck includes, besides a couple of spreads, is you get this card where you can kind of match it up to the card you've pulled, and then it gives you more keywords, which is kind of cool. Very similar to the Chroma Mystic Oracle, but within its own, you know, it's all included here. So it's a cool deck. I like it. I enjoy using it during the summer. It feels very summery. Though I'll probably pull it out now because I feel like these deeper colors can kind of fall into the late winter, early spring vibe as well. And that's that. So gilded. Yeah, I'm keeping this one. I like this one. I really have no issues with this one. And that's the Flower Medicine Oracle by Kathy Nichols. Sorry, I have not been remembering to say the artist, but obviously I'll have everything linked below. So, okay. Next up I have in this lovely bag is the, what's it called? This one's by Krista Chronicles. Do we have a title card? No, I don't think we do. It's Garden Ephemera, I want to say. Something Ephemera. These are the backs, which I love. Krista did an amazing job on this. Like, there's no question there. It's a beautiful deck. Have I used it? No. I bought it because I thought it would look pretty with Little Bird Tarot, and it does. I want to say it reminds me, like color tone wise, it reminds me of this, and this deck I really like with Little Bird. So let's take a moment and just take another quick look at these two together, because I think what kind of throws me is the people in the deck, or you know, the names. So this one is Mary Anonk. I don't know how to pronounce some of these names. You know, it is pretty. The tones are nice. I like it with, but the names, I just, if I'm not working with that particular deity, it kind of takes me out of the card, I think. I feel like I might have been more able to work with it if the person's name wasn't necessarily on it, which, you know, that's just a me thing. Obviously, Krista had a vision for this and she executed it beautifully. Color-wise, it is pretty. And so color-wise, especially because this is more of a summer deck than I feel like the Dream Song is, for whatever reason, maybe just because I bought it in winter, it kind of leans holidays to me, where this one feels more summery. So I don't know. This one does come with a guidebook, I'm fairly certain, and I think it's downstairs. So I'm not going to go get it, but She does include a guidebook, which is nice because I don't know a lot of these people. So this one I'll be holding on to. I feel like I want to kind of use this more June, July, August, September, and see how it works. So let's move these aside and we'll kind of finish flipping through this one. It is lovely. It's a nice linen cardstock. Scotty, I love her. I worked with her this winter. I love her energy. Circe. I like how there's a mix between sort of that Greek, deities, and also it looks like, obviously with Scotty, there's a Norse element as well. Cernunnos, Gaia. I do enjoy her energy. So no, I'll hold on to this one. I like this a lot. Oh, Artio. I didn't realize she was in here. Interesting. Okay, well, yeah. I did. So as I was pulling out, ooh, Nyx. I love her. Yes. So as I was pulling out these decks to do the video today, I realized it's almost the end of February, which means almost spring. And so I started pulling out my spring decks, and that got me very excited for spring. So yeah, this one is staying. This one is a beautiful shuffle. It is bigger, it's an oracle size. So if you have tiny hands, this may be a bit of a struggle as far as that goes, but there's always overhand. Very pleasing. Would you guys qualify this as a plant deck? Woodland Wardens. I guess technically it is plant and animal. But this one's staying. I like the artwork. The guidebook's brilliant. I don't use it very much. I don't know why, but I like it. So it's not going anywhere. I'm just going to do a quick flip through because I already know I'm keeping this one. I do like this one. Plus, this one's one that's difficult to get, and I imagine once it's out of print, it's going to be one of those. But this is the back. Love it. Like I said, the guidebook's really good. I enjoy that. So this is staying. And since it wasn't strictly a plant deck, I didn't really think to pull it out originally. Okay, I have two more. So I have the Oracle of the Roses. This one I kind of got because the other plant deck, what's the other one? I feel like it's by the same artist. It has it's Botanical Oracle, I think. It has the name on the back, which bugs me and I don't like it. But I love these roses. My grandma was into roses, so that's cool. I like that it's an archetype deck. I did not know that when I bought it, which is probably one of the reasons I keep it, because I like to use it for past life readings. This isn't my main archetype deck though, but I feel like it's nice to kind of pull in. I don't use it a lot. I don't do a lot of past life readings, but when I do them, I enjoy having a couple options. I think too, this would be nice to pull in with the Forager's Daughter Oracle, or excuse me, Tarot, when I'm communicating with my grandma. This one's just pretty. The backs are much better, I think, than the Botanic Oracle. The guidebook, yeah, so this one's staying. This one's not, the guidebook's beautiful. And the cards are numbered, so they're easy to find. So this one's staying for now. I don't know if this will be a forever deck. And lastly is my favorite, maybe not my favorite. I'd say this one ties for favorite with the the Southern Botanic Oracle. This is the Botanicals Deck. This one you can get off Amazon. It was literally $10 when I bought it. I don't think the price has changed much. The guidebook doesn't have really any info in it because all the info is on the back of the cards, which I love. I love that in an Oracle deck. Like, I don't have to look it up. It's just right there. So this one, it's photography, which I love. It has multicolored back. This one has a lot of interest to me. So, and then you get a keyword or an intention on the back. It tells you about the plant and kind of the meaning behind the card for that pull. And then you have a ritual for every card, which I adore. I think that's so cool. It references magic. It references ritual. It's very witchy. I won't say very witchy. It's witchy. It's enough witchy. I feel like if you aren't a witch, you could still use this one. Like, ritual doesn't have to be witchy, right? I think a couple of cards mention a cauldron, which, Again, these things aren't necessarily witchy specific, but I think if you are a witch, it's nice to, I like the references. So gratitude for tobacco blessing, bring loose tobacco on a nature walk and offer small handfuls to each plant along your path as an act of gratitude for the elements surrounding you. They're just nice, and they're, you know, I think most of them are easily done, the ingredients are easily accessible. I would say most of them, I guess depending on where you live, or your resources in general, but basil, ginseng, eucalyptus. So a couple of favorites. I use this one quite a lot, and I like to use this one with the Chroma Mystic Oracle. I love to pull in the colors of the card from the other deck. Invoke the green fairy and delight in wormwood with this traditional absinthe. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of cool. I like it. I think the creator did an amazing job. I think the photographer did an amazing job. It's well lit. It's pretty. Mullein, intention is breathe, herbal smoke. The only botanical that heals your lungs from smoking it. Mullein, I don't know how to pronounce it. Mullein is a beautiful base for herbal smokes of all kinds. And it tells you about that. Elder remembrance, elderberry syrup. I don't know. The decks that I have, this works well with, and I enjoy using it. So for that reason, this one's absolutely staying. It does have a bow. It's not the best cardstock. It's not the worst. Is it shuffleable? I don't think so. Plus it's really big. It's very long. Okay. Super shuffleable. But like, I have relatively big hands and it's a stretch for me. So, this is probably a standard tarot size. It's a little bit wider, quite a bit taller. So, yeah. Anyway, what do you guys think about plant decks? Do you have them? Do you like them? Do you work with plant energy? I know a few of you do specifically, because you've mentioned it on your own channels. Yeah, I'd love to hear if you have favorites that I have shown here, or if you have a favorite of your own that I don't have. And I'd love to hear if you also backed the Botanic Oracle on, or excuse me, keep saying Oracle. It's the Botanic Tarot on Kickstarter. I'd love to hear if you backed that, if you're interested in it, and your thoughts on it. So that's that. So really, I think I'm keeping all of those for now, other than the 2 mushroom decks. So if you're curious, if you are interested, I will post the details of these below and I'll get them sent to you. If you're interested, let's chat. DM me, email me. All the info is in the usual places. So thanks for joining me again this week, and I will catch up with you guys next week.